It's that time of the week again, 8:30 on a Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second fastest rising American football podcast on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. You are tuned in to the Third and Long podcast. My name is Shane Harris. Above me is Oliver Butler Henderson. To my immediate right is teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Philip Perrins. And top with his new haircut, Mr. Ollie Bear, Ollie Hope. Gentlemen, before we continue, I just want to say a little quick something. I just want to let everybody know that I love these boys and I love this show, and you should too. Boys, what's going on?
You forgot to introduce our special host. Our guest host for the night. Mate,
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from, she's Canadian, Phil, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
She is Canadian. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Avril Lavigne. Check your hands together for that one.
The second most famous Canadian.
It says something that Ollie doesn't know who Avril Lavigne is.
I do. I'm not that young. I know who Avril Lavigne is.
Yeah, she's the second most famous Canadian in history. No prizes for guessing who the first one is.
Yeah.
Bret Hart. Oh my God. All right. So Gemma works with a Canadian, and she introduced me to her the other day. And she was like, I was like, hi, what part of Canada are you from? And I kid you not, Shane, she said Calgary. Bret Hart country. And then she sighed and went, yes.
Happy still, my beating heart.
Honestly, it was absolutely. So the reason why Avril Lavigne is joining us, and I said to her at the end, during last week's show as well, is this week comes my end of time at my current school, which is Lincroft Academy. I've been there for 5 years, and my lovely colleagues, my friends who I work with, the department that I work with, they pitched together and bought me a cardboard card of Avril Lavigne for me to take to my old school, because my classroom was just littered with like paraphernalia of like different rock stars, and I would always talk and preach about my love for Avril Lavigne. So it's been really, really emotional this week. Today was really, really difficult in many, many ways, because I had a lot of students that came up to me and gave me cards, told me how much I meant to them, and it was actually really, really overwhelming. And I think we've got something a little bit later on that I want to kind of play you guys, because one of my students had created a Cameo account. And if any of you that don't know what Cameo is when you pay a celebrity to do a video message for you. And she got me at the end of the sports day.
The biggest celebrity of all.
Oh. We did get the biggest celebrity because it was the end of sports day, so it was really, really hot and bothered. I'm going, I was just at my wit's end, because if any teacher or if anyone's done sports day, it is just an intense 8-hour day with like kids that either want to do sports or they don't want to do sports, and it's lots of different things going. She's like, sir, Mr. Parent, I've got something for you. And I go, what is it? And like she whipped out her phone and I went, oh my God, please don't show me anything I've been able to write up a report, because that's just like safeguarding what I want. So I'm just going, oh my God, I'm literally gonna have to write. And that's the first thing that comes to me. So she plays this video, and like then all her friends who I also teach about like descend upon me, and they're all just watching my reaction to this video. And I actually couldn't describe like how I felt. I actually started like really welling up. I mean, I'm quite an emotional teacher anyway. I get really emotionally invested in everything that I do. And it was just really, really amazing that they actually put together the time, the effort, and the money to get this insane celebrity that is known worldwide to do this video message for me. And it was just so amazing. And then she sent it to me properly today, which I forwarded on to you guys. And I said, is it all right if we could play it? And like her eyes just lit up, because she's been listening to the show since I've been plugging it in assembly every week. Because during the season, I would constantly plug the show every week. And I said, well, is it all right? And she was like, yes. So
I think we should just play it now.
Yeah. So I can't. I mean, Santa Claus will butcher her name a little bit later on, but from everyone at Lincroft Academy, all my students, all 600 of you that I teach, thank you so much. And it's been an emotional 5 years, and I'm really, really going to miss all of you. Thank you.
Hello, it's me, the big guy, Santa Claus, the jolly old elf. Ho, ho, ho. And I have a great on my way to a new job shout out for a film studies teacher who is leaving the classroom as he pursues another career. He's an expert on Tinseltown and the movie industry, and loves Superman, anything Marvel, the Spice Girls, Avril Lavigne, and American football. This young man amazes me with his enthusiasm for Christmas, and I continue to love, admire, and respect him more and more with each passing day. He knows just how to make the spirit bright as he continues to share the love and joy of Christmas with all those around him. Why, he can even light up a room with that $1 million smile that he is so famous for, even when the lights are off. Ho, ho, ho! And that really helps out on the power bill. I'm talking about you, Mr. Perrins. Isla and I love you to the moon and back, and then some. And we're very excited about your new job and all its possibilities. Although Isla is sad that you're on the way out. You are a Jingle Bell fanatic, a Looney Tunes Christmas crazy. Ho, ho, ho! But you know, that is what makes you so endearing to all of us. Mr. Perrins, you're all the way at the top of my nice list, the very top, right where you belong and right where I've always expected you to be. So I want you to continue to set the standard high, because there are a lot of your friends who still haven't quite figured out yet just how to behave. Ho, ho, ho! Mr. Perrins, there will always be a special place right here in Santa's heart just for you. And I'll never stop believing in you. Isla, the elves, and I are pulling for you. Goodbye and good luck. Just remember, Mr. Perrins, I'll be watching you. Ho, ho, ho!
For those who aren't watching this, who are going to be listening to this on the podcast on tomorrow when we drop it live, or any of you listen to it, you are missing Mr. Perrins literally crying. He's quite emotional. I mean, I'm going to be a crying mess tomorrow when I see my lad like on his leavers assembly. You know, this guy has spent obviously the last 5 years or how many years with his pupils, get to know them and all that, and to have that effect, it shows everything. I mean, we love him anyway, so obviously it's obvious.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, so
Lee said, good boy Santa.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she got Santa Claus, it was just one of those really off-puttingly nice things, and I just want to say, like, massive thank you to that Year 9 class, especially Miss Isla. That's not a real name. Santa's obviously very Americanized in this, but thank you very much for everything. And I'm just gonna take that with me for the rest of my life. That's actually the nicest gift I've ever been given, and I've been given an array of really thoughtful, loving gifts from all my students. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I will ask you one thing, Phil, before we give me 2 seconds. Yeah. I will ask you one thing regarding Avril Lavigne. Is your relationship complicated with her? Don't worry, Phil. Don't worry. I'm with you.
She did say this morning that she thinks I should need a new girlfriend. And she did say that things at the moment are slightly complicated. But I did tell her back in high school I was a skater boy. And then she did stop and say, well, I'll see you later, boy. And then she turned up in my house. So she kept her promise.
I'm sure we just keep holding on, everything will be fine.
Oh,
yes! Oh, they turned it Avril songs. That's brilliant. See, for those who don't know,
just Googled them.
Yeah, Avril was Taylor before Taylor was Taylor. Just letting you know. She was our generation's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but a bit more Asian, a bit rockier.
Anyway, rolling on.
On to American football. We've already been going for nearly 10 minutes and I haven't mentioned anything about it yet.
That's a record.
Santa Claus literally said NFL. He just said American football.
Yeah.
Did you not hear Santa, who was blatantly from like Michigan, saying that how much we like American football? I mean, he struggled to get that out because to him that's just football.
I said we. I wasn't talking about Santa. I was talking about us four.
Santa's everywhere. Santa is everywhere.
Right. Let's actually talk the sport. You know, we've got something else. I've got a video I have to show because it is relevant because it is on the latest TV show, Quarterback. Watch it; it's brilliant. But let's talk about the couple of holdouts, the couple of big name holdouts. Barkley-
Just before we talk about this, have you seen that apparently, I'm not sure if this is true, but I think Schefter tweeted it, that apparently all the running backs, well, veteran running backs, have now got a WhatsApp chat to talk about how they think they could improve the leverage and contract positions of all of the running backs.
No
Oh,
way.
interesting.
Well, it is interesting, right? Obviously, Barkley and Jacobs are holding out. We'll get to those two in a minute. Every position since 2017, their franchise tag minimum value has gone up at least. The only position that's gone down is running back. Is the running back the dying position in the NFL? Because you got the likes of Debo who does everything. These wide backs that does everything. Now McCaffrey is I would class McCaffrey as a wide back more than anything else than an actual running back because he can do everything. Is the running back a now dying off position? Is it leaving the sport?
I think. Oh, go on. Oh, you say yours because I've been thinking about this week as well because I've seen a lot of like short comedy skits on Facebook and on Twitter of like other comedians like throwing in the same idea. I think with this idea of the mobile quarterback, like your Patrick Mahomes, your Lamar Jacksons, and then you've got head coaches like Kyle Shanahan, who has kind of proven that you don't need to pick up an early round running back if you've got the right system to play them in. Like Kyle Shanahan goes through, with the exception of CMC, and Ollie, you can vouch for this as well. Kyle Shanahan goes through a ton of running backs that he doesn't pick up in early rounds. They're either later round picks or free agents or ones that he picks off the waiver wire. So,
but before this year, every other year, in fact, including this year, because it was CMC, every year, Kenny Shanahan's had a different running back be the lead running back in terms of yards, and
wasn't it Elijah Mitchell the year before?
Yeah, he was
Elijah Mitchell.
Jeff Wilson Jr. and Mostert were both undrafted.
But to go against
yeah.
But if you go against that trend, there was 2 running backs picked in round 1 this year.
Yeah, but
Jamar Gibbs and Bijan Robinson.
I don't think the running back position is dying, but I do think that potentially the career of running backs is going to get shorter because there's going to be draft a running back, have him for 4 years, draft another running back, have him for 4 years, and so on and so forth. Apart from the really, really upper echelons, the Christian McCaffreys, the Derrick Henrys of the world, they will probably get a bit longer. But in terms of, I need a mid running back.
The issue is, right, that is literally you are, I don't know what McCaffrey's weight is, what, 220, something like that? 180, somewhere between 180 and 220, something like that. I know it's a big, vague thing. I don't know if it starts off the top of my head. But you're running full pelt into 4 or 5 300, 320, 330 pound men who are trying to either help you or squash you. Something is going to go wrong on that. It's not, your career is short and you pick up injuries. Very rarely nowadays does a running back complete a whole season without an injury. So, yeah, it is different. I mean, you are going to need to see 2 or 3 really good running backs to get a decent career out of it. But what do you make of Barkley and Jacobs holding out? Do you think they're right? Do you think they're worth what the money they're wanting? Because they're looking at $30 million for Saquon. Then again, he is New York.
First off, Drew says, "All right, boys."
Evening, Drew.
I don't like anyone that holds out. I just think that
Debo was one of them.
Debo never held out. Debo turned up to training camp.
Debo never held out.
There was a contract controversy because of it, wasn't there?
Yes,
but anyway, carry on.
He didn't hold out. He requested trade. But I don't like anyone that holds out. But do I think that Saquon is worth more than the tag? Probably. Do I think Josh Jacobs is worth more than the tag? I need to see another season of him being as good as he was last season before I think he's worth that money.
Because isn't C-Mac the highest?
Evening. Yeah, C-Mac.
John?
C-Mac's average 60 million a year.
So is he going to be? He's going to be wanting that kind of money, isn't he? Easily, he's going to be wanting CMC money, Derrick Henry money, that kind of money.
I'm sure Saquon was offered 19 a year at one point and he turned it down.
It's something to do with the incentives as well. That's what's the issue, I think, on it, from what I've read, from what Scheffler's post tweeted out. But it's, I mean, it's you're holding out. Yes, you're not going to be training. You're going to miss out training camp. You're going to get fined. I don't see the idea of holding out. You're getting fined. You're going to show that's showing you're not a team player. You're going to be really pissing off your teammates, really annoying your teammates because they're going, well, you obviously think you're too good for us, then, aren't you? If you're holding out just because you want more money and all that, blah, 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 blah. It's not a team thing. This is a team sport. You see the camaraderie that every team has and all that as well. And I don't like the holdout idea as well. To turn up, do your business, do the work, have a bit of an attitude around it because you want more money than you're getting paid, but don't hold out because it's shit on your teammates. It really is.
Guys, let me put it to you like this, right? Who is the face of the franchise in New York?
Barkley.
Number 26.
Gotta be Saquon, and 100%, right? So he thinks he should be paid as the face of the franchise, and he is the best player on offense that they have, if not the best player in that team. I think he deserves the money that he's asking, because if they don't pay him, he'll play somewhere else. And the fact with the Raiders, with Josh Jacobs as well, again, we don't know how Jimmy and Devontae are gonna coexist together. We don't know how well they're gonna play together. But Josh Jacobs is a proven weapon in Las Vegas. He knows what he's doing. Pay the man, because without Darren Waller, who has ironically gone to the Giants as well, they've lost a big weapon there. So pay the man, keep him around, or you're not going to score many points.
My opinion is, if you want the money and you're not getting it, go out,
prove it,
and play better next year. Prove you're worth the money. Then they may pay you. And if they don't pay you, you're on the tag. It's 1 year. They can't tag you again. Go out and find the money somewhere else, but just go and play this year on the tag. It's not like you're not getting much money. I think it's still like 10 million, which I know is criminally low when you look at the wide receiver and quarterback one. But just go out, play for the year, and prove you're worth the money next year. That's what
I'd love to know what John thinks of this, because obviously he's watching us now. Obviously, being the Raider fan that he is, on Josh Jacobs. Yeah. Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher last year. He was, in the top 5 for touchdowns. He is undoubtedly a good player, and he is working really well in that McDaniel's scheme. I'm not surprised it is set up to be a very, very good run offense, with all that as well. So it's a good thing to have around. So
do you not think the Raiders brought this on themselves?
Mate, the Raiders are just like, literally, how can we mess ourselves up this year? Isn't it, with the Raiders? That's how they do it. I mean,
the Raiders didn't pick up Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity to have him for another year.
On his rookie deal.
I mean, it's like it's the same way as the Giants not picking up Daniel Jones's 5th-year option and then paying him $40 million a year. It's just...
Yeah. I can understand why the Giants didn't do it, because did Daniel Jones look like he was going to have that season he had last year?
No.
Hell no. He fell over on his own. Trying to, where he could have walked into a touchdown, for crying out loud, So I don't blame them at all.
So we've actually just got what John has to say. He says, Josh Jacobs is worth the money, I'd pay him. But I agree with you, Ollie, with it being a team game, it doesn't look good holding out.
100%. Selfish, greedy players.
I get it that they want the money because, any kind of position, one bad hit and their career's done. Especially that running back who take multiple hits. The O-line and the D-line, they're going to want the best money to get, and the running backs, because they do get pummeled week in and week out for 17 weeks straight, near enough. And if you're lucky, 20, 21 games a year. So I understand why they want the money, but go the right round way around it. Do it and show that, okay, yeah, I can do this. This is what I'm worth.
The person I think who is going about it the right way is Justin Herbert.
Elaborate.
He's working out with the team. He's doing a hold in, which I'm not quite sure. It just seems like he's just doing what he's meant to be doing and waiting.
He's got a year left on his. Well, he's got technically 2 years left on his rookie deal anyway. So that's not surprised.
Yeah, but this is usually when you pay the people who you want to keep around long term.
Exactly.
As much as a polarizing figure that he is, and I know it's a different position, that's where I gotta respect the likes of Brady. He always took team-friendly deals, whether he was the Pats or the Bucks. Always took deals for him that would benefit the team. Like, he knows how good he is. He doesn't. He obviously needs to get paid, but he doesn't need to get paid the stupid money that other athletes think they're worth.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brady, did anyone see the video he was on with Mr. Beast the other day?
No.
Oh, about him throwing touch. Yeah, I saw something about it, but I didn't really pay attention because it's Mr. Beast.
Because I'm not a child.
Yeah. Look, we're going to go on to the Madden ratings a bit because I know a certain gentleman to my right has something to say about someone not getting in the 99 club.
God.
And I've got some comebacks on that one.
No,
So,
there's been a few more announcements. I have issues with 2 people not being in the 99 club.
I wonder who they play for.
JJ, the other one. No, he's in it. But yeah, anyway, we'll get back to it. Right. Which throwback do we want to go for first? Browns, Seahawks, or Vikings?
Browns. I actually like this one.
I mean, that helmet is, it is just beautiful, beautiful helmet. So I used to play for a long, long, long time ago called a team called Mrs. Cleve before I went on to bigger things. And at their time, their kit was exactly like that helmet. White, black on the outside with white on the inside piping. And it's a beautiful helmet. And I really do like it. It goes back to when they first was established 60 odd years ago.
1946 by any chance?
1946.
Bit more than 60 years.
Yeah, okay. It's Thursday afternoon. I've had a really bad week. Stressful, tiring week. So yeah, I really like it. What do you guys think of it? I think it's
I do really like it. I think it looks like it's simple and stylish, but still looks good.
It looks like the 49ers throwbacks when we played in the all whites in the last couple of years. It's just been very classy. I don't want to say like throwback, but like it just looks very classy and elite and prestigious, and I quite like that.
John said this Browns color rush kit will look good in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's made as a joke, but yeah, it just looks very. I think it's very professional. It's very sleek, and I think that's the biggest compliment that's going to come out of my mouth this year about the Browns.
Shado?
It gets a yes from me. I think it's very subtle and sleek, and it'll look nice when, as John said, in the snow. It can look nice. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Right. I'm going to disregard what the people to our right are going to say about this next one, Shana.
I don't mind it.
But yeah, this Seahawks one is clean. I really like this. Out of the throwbacks, taking my Patriot hat off, okay, I'm wearing a Revs jersey tonight. I generally think this is probably one of the better ones. I really, really like that. It shows, how they were in the 80s. Was it 80s? Yeah, 80s-ish, wasn't it? So before majority.
Ollie, it's catchy, but then again, so was COVID. It's all right. Yes. What would you call it? Teal, maybe?
Teal's green.
Green. Okay, yeah, the green bits. The green bits I meant.
Yeah.
I think the word you're looking for is cyan.
That's the one. Thank you, bud.
But yeah, I do like that one.
That kit reminds me of Strep A. It's very contagious, and it's just going to make it ill, and it's making me sick looking at it. I'm sorry.
So
Matcha has just come up with something that I was telling you beforehand, which is the Vikings' first-round pick, Jordan Hudson, was cited just after 3 a.m. for speeding in St. Paul, driving 140 mile per hour in a 55, and from what I've read, this wasn't alcohol-related, and no accident was caused. It was just stopped by the police. But I mean, driving 85 mile per hour over the speed limits, that's just stupid.
Yeah, that's idiotic. I mean, he was look what Henry Ruggs did in Las Vegas. What, 2 years ago, nearly now?
Yep.
Yeah,
you are very, very lucky that you did not cause an accident and more.
I remember when that Ruggs story broke. I was actually watching NFL Network at the time. And
Really?
everyone was just shocked.
Matteo, I'm glad you're on. I would like to know your opinion
I'm
on
actually
your
on the
throwback.
face palm emoji.
Yeah. And is that about the throwback?
Mm.
Which player is this? Because I can't remember who number 30 is.
No, I couldn't find a Jefferson or Cousins. This was the best one I could find.
Yeah.
It shows a lot, but I trying to work out what the difference of it is. Is it a different shade?
Yeah, it's quite similar to the normal jersey.
It's mostly around the numbers. If you look at it, the yellow is more heightened, and the purple is. I mean, you can't tell in that picture, but the purple is a little bit more brighter. When I say throwback, it looks more like a 90s, kind of like that classic. Is it Reebok that they wore in the 90s? That kind of like jersey, that Randy Moss, kind of like late 90s kind of like look. That's what it gives the vibes of. That's probably my favorite out of the throwback jerseys. I think I said it on our Twitter feed when we announced it, that the Vikings always look classy. Like there's just something really iconic and classy looking about like that purple and yellow and white that they seem to just pull off really well.
So it seems like Matthew likes it. For those that don't speak French,
sorry, but love my head.
Très bien, I think is what he said. Très bien.
Raymond Bro, I believe, is very beautiful.
There we go.
Thank you, Bob.
And then Matthew has said very pretty jersey.
Matthew said it looks bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb.
1969.
And still not as fast as Justin Jefferson.
Not many people are. Not many people are.
Right. Get over and done with. Come on.
Come on,
Both are not being ranked 99 club.
And Trent Williams not being ranked 99.
Mate, when does a lineman get ranked 99?
Zach Martin.
Yeah,
but when was the last time pre-Zach Martin that a lineman was given a 99
if you're
rating?
If you're going to give a lineman 99 this year, it should be Trent Williams.
Right. Slightly going to argue that. I think he's had better season than they did this year.
Yeah, but do you not think he was the best lineman in football this year?
He is in the top echelon of linemen. But yeah, I think last season he would have been his 99. Mr. Perrins.
This is where I'm going to actually go against Ollie with this and kind of like be the level-headedness of the 49ers fan zone. I found last year Trent wasn't as effective and he's starting to show his age. Am I gutted that he's not 98? Well, last year he was 9. Also, am I gutted this year that he was 98? Well, last year he was 99. And he is decreasing in quality. Now, to an average NFL lineman, Trent Williams having a down year is their equivalent to a good year because this is how good he's been for such a long period of time in the 49ers. I just think Trent Williams is now on the decline, and I think our offensive line is going to be very, very up and down this year. And I think Trent's going to be a big part of basically how that line, that core lineman group is going to be. But I'm not devastated that he's not 99 because I think he is on a downward spiral. He is going to be decreasing in value over the next couple of years. So yeah.
John has said Bosa's out, but I bet Trent Dilfer would have been in the club.
Oh, 100%.
As we were talking about Trent. Yeah.
But the Bosa one I don't understand. And the reason I don't understand it is because Alec Donald didn't have a great year and still made it into the 99 club. Bosa, who had a very, very good year, didn't make it into the 99 club and was rated 98.
Who should Bosa aside, because we're going to argue that all day long. Who should have been in the 99 club that isn't?
What out of the Bosa, CMC, CMC?
No, I'm okay with CMC being 96.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones had a great year, and he's 96.
What about a certain number one who plays in Cincinnati?
No, because Jefferson had a better season.
Tyreek Hill got 98, and I think Tyreek Hill had a great year last year. I think he should be 99. I think Don. Yeah.
I feel like you're giving everyone 99, Phil. There's only ever
No, but I'm looking at the wide receivers now, and you're looking at the top 10. Number 10, Amari Cooper, 91. Okay. AJ Brown, 91. Terry McLaurin from the Commanders, 92. DeAndre Hopkins, 93. Jamar Chase, 94. Cooper Kupp, 96. I think Cooper Kupp's rated way too high going into the season because he didn't have a great. We're rating him what he was 2-3 years ago. The Rams sucked last year. They sucked with a team that he was in. I know he was injured and missed the back end of the season, but he wasn't great. Stefan Diggs, I didn't think actually had a good year, and he's got 96. Devontae Adams, the Raiders were nowhere near the playoffs, and he's 97. Tyreek Hill, I think Tyreek Hill had a better year.
I think he had a better year last year than he did before.
Yeah, but historically, there are only 4 people that are usually 99 on Madden. So this year, it's Zach Martin, Aaron Donald, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes. And I have issues with Aaron Donald and Zach Martin, but I don't have issues with Patrick Mahomes or Justin Jefferson.
Judon only ranked at 98. Yes, he's still in the top 10 of linebackers. But surely that is low because he was, third in the sack race?
Hold on. Judon was 98?
89, sorry.
Okay.
He should have been at 95 at least. He was Patriots rush last year for most season, apart from Josh Uche, who stepped up after about week 8.
I've not actually seen the linebackers. Where's Fred Warner?
I bring him up now because I haven't got it in front of me. Frank Warner.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner. The only one I put is Cade. No player found on the database.
Boys, in all honesty, right, none of these ratings really matter when you play it on rookie mode like I do.
John said, where does Hurts rank? Has anyone got the quarterbacks up?
That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Let's have a look.
He is. Doesn't seem to like players' names, which is a bit weird. Jalen Hurts. How the hell is Hunter Henry an 81? Hutch is Aiden Hutchins an 81.
Hutchinson was overhyped. He didn't have that good a season.
I'll let someone upstairs argue that one.
Jalen Hurts is. Oh my word, where is he?
Guys, the quarterbacks don't get released until tomorrow.
Okay.
That's why I couldn't find him.
Yeah, that'll make sense then.
So I'm just looking at it because they're releasing the rankings because obviously Madden 24 doesn't come out until I think early September time or late August, September time. So I'm just looking at it. I just typed on ESPN. Below is the remaining schedule with ratings released every afternoon. Fridays tomorrow, quarterbacks. So Sports Center tomorrow for Madden 24 is 1 p.m. Eastern Central.
Okay.
So yeah, Friday is the big one where we're going to see where Brock Purdy is going to land in the top 5.
Oh God! Honest to God.
My guess.
Thank you, who shared a picture of Stacey Keebler in a Baltimore Ravens cheerleader.
She's a former cheerleader. She was, but
she's one of our own. Oh, Stacey Keebler, Baltimore Ravens. No one cares. No one cares.
Can I drop some breaking news? It's not big, but it's about we've talked about throwback units. Patriots dropped theirs last season. They're going to wear it twice this year. Week 2 against the Dolphins and week 13 against the Chargers. So the throwback uniform is going to be in week 2 against Dolphins, week 13 against the Chargers. And that red uni is crisp.
So 2 losses.
Yeah,
Boys,
that's it. I'm going to use those two fingers back at you, mate.
Anybody have any opinion on Denzel Mims leaving the Jets and going to the Lions this week?
I
It's
saw
a
that,
good
but
trade.
I didn't
It's a
know-
good steal.
What are the trade? What are the trade?
7th and a
details?
conditional 6th for Mims.
Easy.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great pickup for the Lions.
All right.
Great pickup for the Lions.
He wasn't utilised in that Jets team at all
Yeah.
last season. That's something else. Right. I've got something to show.
I think we're never going to agree on Madden ratings,
No.
so let's just agree to
It's
disagree.
Right.
Especially when you play franchise mode and you just adjust the ratings anyway, like I do. So
Yeah, as I said, it's all subjective.
I tend to play face of the franchise anyway, so I just worry about my own rating.
Too bloody right.
Yeah.
You might or not know, but Netflix dropped a series last week called Quarterback. I'm about 6 or 7 episodes in. It is really, really, really good. I've said to the guys that because of this, I've actually liked Mahomes a lot more. Mahomes as a player, superb, but Mahomes as a person, you're starting to like him more and more. Kirk Cousin dropping Margaret Thatcher's coat in literally the first half an hour of the first episode was
That's all right.
bizarre.
it was the first thing that came out of his stupid mouth.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I do get the quote, and I understand the quote, so I know I know what he means. But
Yeah, but you could have said something like Gandhi or Shakespeare or anyone else that's not a cretin. Like, as soon as he opened his mouth and quoted Shakespeare, sorry, as soon as he opened his mouth and quoted Thatcher, I was like going, well, I instantly don't like him anymore. And that's actually affected my viewing for the rest of the series. Like, it's full on, like, I watched it going, shut up, you prick. Like, I just watched it going... I'm sorry. I've had a few beers.
Drake's so good. Drake's so good for you, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, okay. As I was saying, there seems to be, I don't know how this has come on about it, but there's an episode, I think it's episode 4, maybe 4, yeah, Ollie's just showed me, where back in 2017, Travis Kelce did a show on TV, and I did not know about this, so I'm just going to drop the trailer. It lasts for 1 minute 54. It's called Catching Chelsea. Chelsea, that'd be interesting. Catching Kelce.
My name is Travis Kelce. I'm a professional football player for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm looking for love. I'm getting the opportunity to date 50 beautiful women from this God-loving country. Hey there, lonely girl. Lonely girl. Don't you know this lonely boy loves you? When I'm off the field, I am still in the spotlight. I need a woman that will fit into all aspects of my life, that can get along with my teammates and their wives. So I'm trying a whole new game plan. This offseason, I have moved out west to Los Angeles in hopes of finding that one special girl. It's gonna be fun as hell.
Is that what we're doing?
And right.
Girl, it's about to get real in this bitch.
It's not gonna be easy.
Your lie daughter, she said it could break this bottle of wine over my head.
The petty stuff, we ain't got no time for that. We ain't got no time for that. But I know it's gonna be worth it. I actually have feelings for her. This is the hardest decision I've ever had to make.
So you're honestly telling me that like one of them is really going to move to Kansas and like be your girlfriend?
Yeah, I made that loud and clear. I know that I'm gonna end up breaking one of these girls' hearts. I was definitely feeling that kiss. For sure.
Good.
I'm in this all the way in. There is nothing that I'm holding back. I'm supposed to be the big bad football player, and I'm sitting here talking about love. That's enough talking. Let's get to this thing.
Catching Kelce. Series premiere Wednesday, October 5th. Only on E!
So we've actually got a comment from Kelly about that, saying, honestly, he must have missed with his friends in the locker room. And apparently, spoilers, the one that caught him only kept him for 6 months.
Oh, I've just looking that up as well.
And
Yeah.
John said Phil is ready for the summer holidays.
I am
yes.
literally. So this is my second bottle of Estella, boys.
During the show.
I'm very upset. Yeah, during the show as well. All right, so I'm just going to say this objectively. Travis Kelce is a good-looking bloke. Like, he really is.
Yeah.
He's charismatic. He's funny. He's shredded. He's rich. He's actually the ultimate catch in many ways because he's a 2-time Super Bowl winning champion as well. He's actually the perfect catch.
But at this point, he had not won a Super Bowl. I believe this was 2017.
It was in 2017. Yeah.
Well, let's look at it now because now he's a 2-time Super Bowl winning champion and he's one of the greatest sportsmen in the NFL. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time, if not the greatest tight end of all time. He is literally just, he literally is balling. And I don't think he even needs that show anymore because Travis Kelce should just be walking down the street and have people throwing themselves. Notice how I said people and not just women. People throwing themselves at him because he's just that amazing.
Yeah.
I've always said, right, when you've got the likes of professional athletes or celebrities, they shouldn't have relationships because they don't really need to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I disagree with that.
Until you retire, I don't think, because I think until you retire, because you can't really like think about who's actually using you for you or who's using you for your fame or your privilege or your platform. But like when you're out of the spotlight, that's when I think you can kind of like navigate.
Yes.
I don't know, from a sportsman point of view, when you see like the likes of like Frank Lampard, who like properly settled down after he left Chelsea, it was on like the download of his career when he actually settled down. But like, or even like Ronaldo to a different degree. But Travis Kelce doesn't really need. Oh, Gronk's still partying, and Gronk's like
he's a boy.
Gronk's gonna be partying till he's 70.
I do get what you guys are saying, but these athletes are people too, so they deserve relationships just as much as we do.
Gronk is a year older than me, or a couple of years older than me, and
guess what, Phil? He's a former
he's
24/7 champion as well,
and a full-time Super Bowl champion as well.
You missed what I said.
I'm gonna completely and utterly disagree with you. So, in the same show, quarterback, you obviously see a lot about Mahomes and Mahomes' wife Brittany. They've been together since high school. Kirk and his wife have been together for decades, ages and ages, and same as Mariota. So, if you are with the right woman, it doesn't matter about fame or money. They will love you no matter what.
I agree with that.
Can I counter that? Watching quarterback. I mean, I know I'm only 2 episodes in, and I agree with you what you said, Ollie, about like I'm actually liking Patrick Mahomes more as a person because like when you learn about like his dad and his dad was a baseball player, he wanted to be a baseball player, and how his love of baseball that actually influenced how he actually plays the game of football. But Jesus Christ, Brittany does not come across well. Like every time Brittany's on screen, I really don't like her. I actually don't like it. And I have noticed how they've kept Jackson very quiet, or they haven't mentioned him once throughout the episode so far. But like Brittany, I just find really...
Spoiler, he very rarely shows up, and he's probably in it about 3 times, and I'm, like I said, I'm on episode 5 or 6. So,
Yeah, I don't like Brittany. Like, when she's popped up, I've actively not liked her.
Cool. That's an active around the NFL in general, mate.
And this is available on Netflix to view as we speak.
That's quarterback, not catching Kelce. I'd love to see catching Kelce on Netflix, but
mate, that'd be something else. That'd be something else, wouldn't it? Imagine his partner now or ex-partner going, "No, why are you with that one?"
Yeah, she dropped the ball on that one, didn't she?
Yeah, too bloody right. Right. Pre-season, it's off-season, it's quiet, blah 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 blah. Every year, hot coaches are fired literally before a ball's even kicked, or said you are going to be fired by the end of the season if XYZ doesn't happen. We've got our 5 who we think, as in 5 each, who is on the hot seat for coaches this year. So,
and just to be clear, we did do this last year, and I had Matt Rule at number 1, who got fired, and Frank Reich at number 2, who got fired. So I'm feeling pretty good about my list this year.
Go on then, fire it. Let's go with who wants to go first? Right, rock, paper, scissors.
Ollie, go first. Ollie, go first. Go first.
Okay, so my number 1, the person who I think is in the hottest seat of all, I've got Ron Rivera at Washington.
Yes, he's on my list as well.
Yeah, that. Yeah, no, but this is Washington. They don't do anything. He could
Yeah, but
literally lose 17-0, be 0-17, lose by 60 points each week, and they're so yeah, it's fine. Have a contract extension.
I've got 2 reasons why.
Got them.
Number one, new owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meant to be confirmed tonight, apparently.
Yes, in Minnesota. Number two, the quarterback situation.
Yep.
He's taken a flyer on Sam Howell. It's literally, I think his job is in Sam Howell's hands. And
Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah, but I think if Jacoby Brissett starts, that's one with error gone.
Okay.
I don't think Sam Howell will save his job, so that's why I've got him highest on the hot seat list.
Is he your number one as well, Mr. Perrins, or have you gone elsewhere?
He's not my number one, but I agree with Ollie. I think Ron Rivera is one of the NFL coaches who has passed his sell-by date. He peaked in Carolina. He has got by in Washington because Washington is a low-stakes, toxic ownership environment where, like you said, he could go 0-17 and Dan Snyder wouldn't sack him because of just everything else that's encompassing the Washington Commanders in that environment. Now, the ownership of Dan Snyder is coming to an end. It'll be done either by the end of the week or before the NFL season starts. He's gone.
Today,
so the new owners are going to come in, and we can apply this to like the soccer model as well, where the new ownership are going to want to implement their own style. They're going to bring in their own people. They're going to want to bring their own executives, and they're going to want to bring in their own coaches because they're going to want their own particular style that they want in the Commanders. Now, Dan Snyder, for our English football fans, is the equivalent to Mike Ashley.
I knew you were going to say
that. Ron Rivera is, I'm not going to say he's Steve Bruce because Ron has won stuff, but he's very much like that Alan, like that Sam Allardyce, that Alan Pardew, kind of like over the hill. He's just there for the paycheck. That kind of mentality. So they're probably going to sack him if he doesn't start the season strong. Now, Ron could be someone that's gone before their bye week. So I think there's a quarterback situation. Yes, they've got cap space that they can bring players in. They can do trades. They've got some really good players in that particular environment, but I don't think he's going to be there for the 24-25 season. But yeah, he's definitely on the hot seat. I think he's going to get sacked at some point within the next 12 months.
Yeah. Mr. Harris.
Did I send you a list for this?
No, you didn't. But it's
I
fine.
didn't think I did. I don't remember you sending you a list for this.
I didn't get Mr. Perrins either, so it's fine.
Right, no worries. It's all right. I'm not going to go with the popular choice about Ron. I'm going to go with Josh McDaniels.
Oh, he's on my list as well. He's actually my number one.
He was lucky last year, and like Phil said, there's no expectation in Washington.
Ooh.
They can go, 0-17, and they're going to be like, sound.
John
All
said
right,
controversial.
that's
John Harbaugh, Ravens spent out, so they need to perform.
They are win now mode.
I'll address that shortly.
Yeah.
I think Josh McDaniels, especially if they keep Josh Jacobs as well, he's got all the tools to succeed. And I think it's a bridge. Yeah, I think it's a bridge too far. And with the amount that they paid Devontae as well to bring him in, and he hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. I think this will be his chance now. And if it blows up in his face early, that may be his lot. And the John Harbaugh situation. I love John. John, like David De Gea, can do no wrong in my eyes, no matter what. But I can certainly understand what you're saying. He may very well be in win now mode with Eric DaCosta back in the Brinks track up for Lamar Jackson. It's a case of win or that may be curtains for you.
John says if you get rid of Daniels before the season starts, I'll take it. But here's my issue with that.
Point proven.
I feel like coaches usually get 3 years to prove themselves.
Yeah.
This is only McDaniel's second.
He didn't get that in Denver.
Yes, but that's because he was nosediving. Phil?
Josh McDaniels is a head coach. I just got this up now. he is 17 wins to 28 losses as a head coach. He finished last season with a 6-11 finish, considering that the previous year when they fired Chucky, they got to the playoffs. All right, so he took a playoff entering team and tanked them with almost the exact same team in tow. He's lost Derek Carr. They've got about like 40-odd million space in cap. He's brought in Jimmy Garoppolo, for God's sake. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's probably not even going to be fit. Jimmy Garoppolo, who's just there for strippers and just getting paid because that's all he wants to do at this point. Okay? Right, Jimmy Garoppolo is my age. Jimmy Garoppolo is my age, and he looks like George Clooney. Okay? Now. He looks like George Clooney now. Jimmy Garoppolo is not there to win. Jimmy Garoppolo is there to pick up a paycheck. Even if he doesn't even play.
As a Bond villain, as you called him, yeah?
As a Bond villain in the black and silver. I don't think Josh McDaniels, and you said earlier, head coaches kind of get that 3-year kind of like cycle to prove themselves. Whether or not they're coming with a decent record or a losing record. Josh McDaniels is playing off of a career of being an offensive coordinator in Bill Belichick's Patriots side. As every time he's been a head coach, he has failed, and he has failed hard. He's a head coach again in the Raiders. The Raiders aren't in a great place. Mark Davis is facing a lot of kind of pressure from the NFL because of the whole Chucky scenario and the Dan Snyder scenario and everything that's there. And don't forget, the Davises aren't particularly well liked in the NFL offices because of Al Davis and his previous kind of feud with the front office in the NFL when he took the Raiders from Oakland to LA. So he's got that pressure as well. But I just think Josh McDaniels is probably going to get fired. He's not great. He's on the hot seat for a reason. He's brought in to be an offensive genius, and he's failing.
As long as he doesn't come back to New England, because I got bored of his offensive.
John said Jimmy G is the Ric Flair of Vegas.
However, John, unlike Ric Flair won 16 world champions. Woo! Jimmy Garoppolo won a championship while sitting on the bench behind the proper world champion.
Ollie, who was your number one?
Ollie, have you got McDaniels on yours?
I don't.
Right, okay, that's covered McDaniels. That's fine.
Just because of the 3-year thing.
I sent my order. I sent my players to Ollie. I didn't send him my order.
Yes.
Two of you are going to be really angry with me, or not angry, but like shocked.
You think Shanahan won?
I reckon Shanahan's number one. You've got
I
the best.
I agree.
You've got the best team in football. You have the best team in football. And if you don't, it is Super Bowl or bust for you guys.
The one reason I disagree with that is the quarterback situation.
I don't think that's an issue.
I think
Brock Purdy has shown enough.
I think
I agree with
apparently.
If we had a set quarterback, because we don't know how Purdy's going to come back from this injury, if we had a number one quarterback, if we had, let's say, Kirk Cousins, for example, then yes, I would say that. But I think the quarterback situation could save Shanahan this year. Plus, Lynch loves him. York loves him. I don't see Shanahan going, even if we have an absolutely terrible season this season.
The only thing that's going to save you is if you get serious amount of injuries, like you did that got you that number. No, what got you the Bosa year? When you had that is the only thing that's going to save him. But yes, you go through it, players like going out, but that's the same thing. You have got the best team in football. You know, you've said you've got the best left tackle, you've got the best defensive end in the league, or rush edger. You got one of the best.
Finally admitted it. No more of this Chase Young stuff.
Chase Young's not played in 18 months. Otherwise, that argument would be completely different.
You've got comment in the second episode ever, Ollie.
Yeah, shut up. Let me finish my rant. Will you shut up? You know, you've got some of the best wide receivers in the league. Your 1-2-3 core is probably up there. Your duos are better than anyone else. Your defense was ranked 2 behind the Eagles. You're ranked 1 in the end. Okay, I know you and Eagles were up there. You were probably an injured quarterback away from getting the Super Bowl. You got to be looking at the Super Bowl. And that was your 3rd string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant. If you don't make the Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan has to go. I'm sorry, but it's time now. He's been there, what, 4 years now? 5 years?
6.
You know, it's that's it.
Can I interject?
Go on, then.
I agree with Ollie. I 100% agree with Ollie. I don't think the media are going to pick up on this because they do seem to focus more on the good stuff that Kyle's done more so than when some of his play calling, some of his decisions has actually been to the 49ers detriment. This is very much Kyle Shanahan's team now. He's not a first-year coach. He's not a second-year coach. He's been through 5 NFL drafts with Lynch. This is definitely his team. He is the figurehead. All right, he's been in the team long enough. This is his offensive line. This is his playbook. This is his defense. He has Kittle. He's got CMC. He's got Debo. He's got Ayuk. He's got Trent Williams on the defensive side of the ball. He's got Bosa. He's got Hargrave. He's got Jackson. He's got Ward. He's got Hufanga. He's got quality. He's got absolute quality. This is win or bust because next year there's a lot of contract that's going to have to be paid out and some players aren't going to be able to make the cut. And this is very much Super Bowl or die for Kyle. Yes, we've been to the NFC Championship 3 times in 5 years. Yes, he's took us to a Super Bowl. But I would argue we should have won the game last year if it wasn't for the injury to Purdy. We should have won the bloody Super Bowl. We should have won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. We should have beat the Rams. We should have done all this. And there's milestones, there's like minute kind of details, but we should have won one by now. But this is very much his team. He's had so much input in terms of the building of this team, and it is win or break. It is 100%. So I agree with you there, Ollie.
Jonas said Niners versus Ravens Super Bowl, loser gets sacked.
Well, funny you should say that. We have our own little Super Bowl on Christmas night when the Ravens play the Niners.
I'm just going to say, I think if Shanahan makes the playoffs, he's safe.
Shado, next for you, mate.
Do you know what? I'm going to go from who I think is going to get sacked to who I want to get sacked. Are we past the watershed, Ollie? We are, aren't we?
Yeah, man.
Fucking Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is never going to get sacked in a
I know.
years.
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
He could sleep with the owner's wife and still get a pay rise.
I hate it, right? But yeah, he's been there since 2007. And he never had an under 500 season, I think.
No,
One
he's
Super
not.
Bowl in those years as well. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I just can't stand him. But onto a different sort of question. Ollie, do you think Bill will ever get sacked, or do you think he'll walk on his own?
Right.
Bill's on his list.
He's on my list.
Oh,
Bill is on
okay.
this. Bill is on the hot list. Right. Bill, GM Bill, useless. Well, actually, when I say useless, he is not very good on the offensive side of the ball. He picks up some real gems on defense, some real gems. Some like Marcus Jones last year was a 4th round pick, and he was one of our best players. Jonathan Jones, Jack Jones, McCourties, and people like that. He knows how to pick defensive players. Offensively, meh, hit and miss. Don't say it. Don't say it. But yeah, I mean, there is like mumblings at the, because obviously we didn't get D-Hop and all that, so there's a lot of discontent amongst the fans of.
We'll talk about that next week.
There's a lot of discontent about that. Whether that was Kraft, Bill, whatever. One thing's going to happen at the end of the season. Bill Belichick will not be a Patriots head coach. It's either going to be him walking away. It's either going to be him walking away, or it's going to be Robert Kraft going, "Yeah, mate, come on, you're 72 now."
I think.
I don't know why I looked at my watch when I said that.
I think if Kraft fires him, he will go and get another job for the next 10 years just to piss off the Patriots.
To spite them.
The rumors are, Jared Mayo is set up to be the next head coach of New England.
Ooh.
That's what the conversation is. Jared Mayo is set up to be the next head coach. That's why they gave him the big contract.
Was Belichick your number 2?
No. Green Bay, Matt LaFleur. But we'll get back to that in a bit. Mr. Perrins.
I actually think this is a really, really serious one. Like Kyle Shanahan, Mike McCarthy.
Yes, that's who I have at number 2 also. I feel like
he's got them to the playoffs in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
I know two of those have got
one win.
Two, and they've been spanked both times by the 49ers, literally smacked by the 49ers. And
12 seconds ago.
there's two teams that Jerry Jones doesn't like. He doesn't like losers, and he hates losing to San Francisco. Like, he full on hates it. Like, if you listen to anything that he talked about in the early 90s, when he would gleefully brag about beating the 49ers, he hates the 49ers. He's a Dallas Cowboys fanatic. Like me and Ollie, when we talk about like how we hate the Dallas Cowboys, he hates the 49ers. That's just that rivalry.
I see why you mean.
I actually had Mike McCarthy 3 last year, and I've promoted him to 2 this year on my list. Because I think it's Super Bowl or bust.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's Super Bowl or bust for him. I think it's if he comes up against the 49ers again in the playoffs and loses, he's gone. I think if he gets to the playoffs and he gets knocked out in the NFC Championship against, I don't know, the Eagles or the Vikings or someone else that's not from San Francisco, I think it will buy him more time. But if he goes against the 49ers and loses again, that's him done. And I think he's very much
right. I'm gonna jump to my who is my number 3 on my list.
Just quickly, John said Bill will walk away, then have 2 years in Tampa.
Right.
Which Ollie leads you on to your number 3 perfectly.
Todd Bowles.
I did look at that.
Yeah. You had the GOAT. Your first year, the GOAT. You were shockingly bad. You didn't lose any players. You didn't gain that many players. You still had the GOAT under center. You had your head coach on the pitch effectively. You didn't go. You go and got Baker. Baker is not Tom Brady. Baker's not even Matt Stafford, for crying out loud. If you do not get out of that division, which if you look at my my playoff win misses, I've called the NFC South probably the worst division in this league. If you don't get out of that division, you are gone, Mr. Todd Bowles. Sorry, but you are.
I don't see them winning this division.
I don't either. I've got Carolina down to win it.
Yeah.
You two have both taken number 2. My number 2, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the same.
Okay.
Because Jordan Love, basically.
Right. Brett Favre sat 2 years behind his predecessor, and I can't remember his name for the love of money. He spent 15 years or whatever it was in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers then sat 2 years behind Matt LaFleur, then spent 15 years under center near enough under Green Bay. Jordan Love's done the same. So you've learned under, at that time, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We've seen Jordan Love play a couple of games. He didn't exactly set the world on fire. Okay. You look at Bill Zappi. He stepped up the game. If you compare them to the same kind of thing, Bill Zappi didn't look like a deer in headlights. Jordan Love did. They now need to prove that it wasn't Aaron Rodgers getting them to the playoffs. Matt LaFleur's play calling in the playoffs has been dodgy as well.
Yeah.
You need to now prove that it wasn't Aaron Rodgers, it was Matt LaFleur that got to the playoffs. And if you don't, Matt LaFleur's gone.
The reason I don't have him on my list is because of the quarterback situation. Does anyone have Gannon? I don't, because he's the first year.
Yeah.
Nah, it's
very rare.
It's the same with the Riverboat Ron, but there's no expectation there.
Yeah. Who hasn't done 3? Anyone? Anyone pick, go next? I don't know. Go on then.
Go on, Ollie. Go on, bud.
So my number 3. Oh no, no, not on my number 3, because my number 3 is. I might have Brandon Staley at 3.
Chargers.
Yeah, they absolutely bottled it in the wildcard game last year. I believe they were winning 27-0, and then
time.
And I just think they have a good team, and they need to actually get in the playoffs and win a game. Otherwise, Staley's gone.
Can I say something, Mr. Hope? You actually got Mike McCarthy at number 1.
Yeah, I know. I've changed around the order since I sent it to you.
Okay, I'll shut up then. Mr. Parent.
Mine's the same. So I haven't done them in order. I've just named 5 that I've looked at. Yeah, massively. Brandon Staley's actually my number 1 on my list. The bottle job that happened in the AFC game last year between them and Jacksonville, where they were 27-0 up.
God, yes, I forgot all about that.
And in the second, and then Trevor Lawrence led them. I think that in the second half it was 31-3. Let me just have a look. Yeah, in terms of that callback.
That game. Trevor Lawrence got picked off 4 times in the first half in that game.
Yeah.
Still wanted to win it.
Now, if you think about it as well, Justin Herbert, what we were talking about, like the AFC quarterbacks, and we actually forget about him because of how stacked that place is. Because you've got like Mahomes, you've got Allen, you've got Burrow, you've got Wilson, like you've got Lawrence, you've got these great quarterbacks that are in the AFC, but we leave out Justin Herbert because of where he is in the Chargers. Because the Chargers really try and build him up as being on par with Joe Burrow, but he's not, because that organization is not there. And a lot of that comes down to, the coaching. It comes down to like the face of it. But I think Brandon Staley is massively there on the hot seat because of how it's been the last 3 years it's been there. Yeah. Don't forget as well, he also called that timeout against the Raiders that led to them kicking a field goal and winning. So he's made mistakes in the last couple of seasons that have led to the Chargers missing out. Because does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
When he called that timeout, the Raiders kicked the field goal and then won.
I'm sure John does.
Oh yes, Mr. Harris.
Thank you.
Next on your list.
What if I said to you, we've got this Super Bowl or bust theme going on. What if I said to you, Sean McDermott?
Yes, he's next on my list. He's number 4 on my list.
Go on, you two. Discuss.
He's been here since 2017, but he's had ample chances. Again, he's got a brilliant offense, brilliant defense, brilliant team as a whole. They have a new stadium being built as well, which is going to cost the taxpayers an arm and a leg. But that's by the by. I think they need a dynasty. They need a team for that stadium. And they better start winning Super Bowl soon, or he is right and fairly on the hot seat. Would you reckon, maybe Hope?
In the way you guys are talking about Kyle Shanahan, I agree with this with Sean McVay. He has an incredible team. And
Sean McVay, wrong one, try again.
Sean McDermott. And he can't get. He seems to be stuck. Like they've only got to the AFC Championship game once under him. I think that was 2020 COVID.
And they had a bye week 1.
Yeah, last 2 years they've not. And if Josh Allen's not getting any younger, their stud wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, definitely isn't getting any younger. They need to make the Super Bowl this year, or I think they need to make a change.
Yeah.
I know Sean McDermott just got like a 5-year extension, so did Brandon Beane, or whoever the GM is. But still, they need to make a change if they don't make the Super Bowl this year.
No, agreed. Completely agree. He didn't make mine, but there's a different reason. Like I said, I looked at it a different way to you guys. Mr. Perrins.
Mike Vrabel.
He is my number 5.
Go on then. Discuss.
So Tennessee still consider themselves contenders without actually contending, which is weird. It's all right. Just use another of our football metaphors here. Tennessee Titans walk around thinking that they're Manchester City, but they're actually on par with Tottenham Hotspur, where they actually think they're above their station. You take Derrick Henry, aka Harry Kane, out of that team, they are nothing. And they stood still. The what?
I said, is Kelly watching? The resident Spurs fan.
I mean, I'm sure a Spurs fan would agree.
I think she is.
A genuine Spurs fan would agree that if you take Harry Kane out of Tottenham Hotspur, they're midder than Nottingham Forest. Like they're the middest of the mids. All right, he makes them that makes them a little bit special. And Tennessee have peaked. They're in rebuilding mode, and they don't really know what direction they want to go. They've got Derrick Henry, they've got Ryan Tannehill, but they're not really sold on Tannehill now because Miami realized that and followed them off under Tennessee. And then Tennessee is now going after a couple of years going, oh crap, maybe Miami were right about Ryan Tannehill, so we don't really know what to do with him either. And there's just a lot of way around it. I think missing out on multiple opportunities to actually get into the playoffs and get deep into the playoffs have harmed them. But I think he's definitely he's one of my favorites for being on the hot seat. He'll be gone by Black Monday.
So variable for me is interesting because obviously 2 years ago they almost made it to the Super Bowl, if I recall.
Almost.
Last year, it was Mahomes' magical comeback, wasn't it?
Last year, after trading AJ Brown, they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Traylon Burks is not AJ Brown.
Yeah.
This year, I wouldn't be surprised if Will Levis starts by week 10, and I just don't think he's going to be good. And I just think they need to clean slate. Mike Vrabel needs to be gone.
Yeah.
And go back to being to the Patriots to be a line coach or something.
So, Tannehill's taken them to another. So Marcus Mariota was the quarterback in Tennessee before they took Tannehill from Miami. So we all know Marcus Mariota threw the pass, literally got batted down off the defender, and he ran in for a touchdown.
Yeah, they showed that on quarterback actually.
Yeah. But I remember that before watching it. I remember that this is going to happen. And then the next season he flunked. He got in, or while he was injured, and then Tannehill took them to another level. They were then consistently the number one seed for 2 or 3 years on a bounce.
Yeah,
the number 1, number 2 seed because of Henry, but Tannehill
and
was
AJ
okay.
Brown.
But yeah, exactly. They had a serviceable quarterback who could take them to another level. You know, he worked more in that kind of offense that he is now. But yeah, I mean, I thought Vrabel would have been on it last year. And I really thought, I'm surprised he lasted it this year.
I think you had Vrabel on your list last year, actually.
I did. Shano, any more for you, my friend?
Yes, but let me talk to you about Pete Carroll. He's been there since 2010. He's been here 13 years. He's not getting any younger either. And they haven't exactly done well for themselves fairly recently. Let me just see how old he is a minute. He's 71. He's a year younger than Bill, right? He's a year younger than Bill. So I just think the fact that they probably do a change. And they paid Gino all this money, so they're expecting results. And I just don't think if they don't get it, he's been here 13 years. It's a case of how long can you bang your head against a brick wall until you start to bleed? Do you know what I mean? Until you start to see, like bad things happening.
Ironically, Belichick was Carroll's predecessor.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's got. I don't think he'll go this year. I think he'll be next year.
I think Carroll has a year or two left in him.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting take. I do get your situation. I do understand why it's like, yeah, they fluked themselves from the playoffs last year. No one expected that from last year with Gino and all that. So I think that's given them a saving grace, and plus the injuries, and now they've got some really, really good wide receivers. They've got, JSN, they've got D-Mac, they've got Tyler Lockett. They got Walker, KW3 at running back. They've got a very, very good offense. They are now restarting to build that defense. Tariq Woolen is a very, very, very good 4th-round pick cornerback. I can't remember who they picked up this year. They picked up another really stud cornerback in the draft, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, so they are starting to put a really good roster together now. It's a case of they're going to be in the next year or two. They're going to be in win or now mode because they're going to need to start paying these guys. So yeah, I think he's got another year on him, but yeah, it's a really good hot take on his age and all that. Maybe freshen up on them, things like that. Does anyone have anyone mouse? Because I've got one more.
I have an honorable mention, but I think you're going to mention him. So
I was going to mention Dennis Allen. So Dennis Allen.
Ooh.
The 3-year rule for me is
2 years, sorry.
So Mine is we are going to see him on Hard Knocks.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay, that's not who I thought you were going to go with.
Robert
So you're
Salah.
going- Ooh.
Reason is it going to be him or is it going to be Aaron Rodgers that caves first? Is it who's going to win the ego battle? Is it going to be Rodgers? Is it going to be Salah? Or did Salah really want Rodgers there? Were they going to go, right, we're going to try Mike White again? Were they going to try Zach Wilson?
Just
yes.
out of interest, did you see Robert Salah's press conference today?
I haven't yet.
He was wearing a shirt that said "I Greenheart HK," meaning Hard Knocks, I believe.
Okay.
And how much did he get paid to wear that?
I generally think that Aaron Rodgers, if things aren't going well, he'll go knock on the GM's door, going, can we have a chat about the head coach situation, please? And can my mate come and take over again?
Who's his mate?
The
Daniel
former,
Hackett.
the former Denver Broncos head coach.
The guy who is OC at the Jets.
Yeah,
It's going to be a case of who's going to throw a boot at who first.
exactly that.
That will. Go on.
Who's
Audience knows what I mean by that.
Who's going to win the fight? Celebrity fight.
Celebrity death match, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that was going back in the days. Oh my God.
It is, boy. It is.
Cleaning the bar on a Friday night and having that on MTV. That was something else. This has gone completely over Ollie's head, I can tell.
I think Phil's gone to sleep as well. Two beers, too much for him of him.
I'm awake.
Proper Geordie can't drink.
I remember Celebrity Deathmatch because Stone Cold Steve Austin would pop up every now and then and be the referee.
This is true.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Ollie hasn't taken his shirt off yet and started doing the pod naked or topless. No.
The person that almost made Linus that didn't was Arthur Smith.
Atlanta.
Again, what do you expect out of Atlanta again, you know?
Well, I just think they need to be successful this year with Ridham Bijan. Otherwise, I think Arthur Smith needs to go.
I don't think they will do because I don't think they're sold on their quarterback situation. I think they're going to go Bijan. Occasionally bits, occasionally London.
I'm going to call it now. I think they're the best chance of going worst to first.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, can I just add about Dennis Allen? Sorry, we talk about Sean McVay. I'll shut up for that.
Sorry, but my apologies.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
No, so Dennis Allen. I mean, the first season since 2005 that the Saints have had without Sean Payton, and they finished the season without getting into the playoffs. And the team that got into the playoffs from that division were the 8-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a losing team actually got into the playoff situation here. Now, we can talk about the fact that their quarterbacks were Jameson Winston and Andy Dalton, but going into week 13 with, I think it was in the fourth quarter with minutes left, the Saints were winning 16-3. And then they went on to lose that contest to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which effectively ended their chances of getting to the playoffs and winning that particular division. So I generally think that Dennis Allen is really very much so on the hot seat because, yes, he's got Carr, and that'll be a significant improvement. But there's a lot of, and they're massively over cap space anyway because we don't have a lot of money anyway. So I think he could be very much a necessary casualty of the Saints because, yeah, he's only going into his second season with them, but they failed dramatically last season. So he really needs to show improvement.
As well, he was Sean Payton's DC.
Absolutely. So he is from that era of, was he the DC? No, he wasn't the DC when they won the Super Bowl, was he?
The big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give something about Derek Carr. Derek Carr is going to be New Orleans Saints, Tannehill. He's going to take them to another level, stall at that level for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds.
That's my situation.
So you think McVay?
Yeah, you know how bad they were last year. You know, when I think, do you think the fan base in LA, the very demanding fan base in LA, are going to put up with another season of that, even though he did bring the Lombardi there? But you know what it was like? They went all in.
I think he's won the Lombardi. they need to understand that they're rebuilding now, and I think the Lombardi has bought him time to rebuild.
Sean McVay will leave LA Rams at this season and go and work in Fox.
Okay.
He was so heavily rumored to do it last year. Literally, it sounded like he was about to do it. So he will be leaving LA Rams and will be going work for Fox next year. Yeah, right, gentlemen. Mr. Perrins is looking a bit worse for wear, and I don't know if that's.
I'm really tired.
I don't know if it's because he's got tears in his
don't
eyes.
start this now.
Don't know if he's got tears in his eyes or it's because he's had a couple of shandies. So
literally a couple of shandies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always for joining in. There's actually been quite a lot of you tonight, and we are incredibly grateful. Your interaction is brilliant, and it makes this show what it is. We will be back here next Thursday, 8:30 live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever we can put it on at the time. As always, ladies and gentlemen, good night and stay safe.